I was so excited when they started talking about a rock festival, and I knew we weren't going to get it in this episode, but I was secretly hoping that they would at least give us a bit of a taste of it. But nonetheless, this was still a great episode, and next week's episode, based on the title and the preview, should be incredibly interesting, especially since it looks like it's raining in the preview, and we learned that one of these characters got killed by lightning before it turned into a zombie. So it'll be interesting if lightning plays a factor in next week's episode, and also what absurdity we will come to expect from that episode. It's going to be a pretty good one. But this week's episode and its whole sentimental aspect with its theme was actually really enjoyable. First things first, I was surprised by how good the comedy was in this episode, because I thought this would be one of those episodes that just tries to be a bit more character driven, kind of fleshing out the character's past and just how the group interacts outside of over the top performances. But they actually sprinkled in quite a few moments that actually made me chuckle out loud. I think, well, obviously Ty is going to always be funny no matter where you look on screen. She's always doing something. If she's not in the focus, you can almost always look to the side of the screen and be like, what is that pose? What is that face? What is that sound? And always have a good laugh. I think definitely the highlight for me is when she is delivering the shampoo to the old manager, but really I think it's detergent that she gives him and then later gives him soy sauce. Like, this girl, I really hope by the time the show ends, this is something I'm secretly hoping for. This was all an act. She was never actually a mindless zombie. I hope she's just screwing with people. I don't expect this to come true, but if it did, that would just tie her character together and be the icing on the cake. A lot of really funny moments in this episode. Of course, manager taking a bath with his sunglasses on. There's always the debate, oh, is he hiding something? Is he secretly a creature, not a human? I personally don't care. I just want him to be funny, and he is. If something more comes from his character past just being a human raising zombie idols, and he actually is a creation himself, so be it, but I'm just looking for the absurdity, and he's definitely delivering. But the actual character drama between Juko as well as I was something I wasn't expecting to enjoy as much as I did. Something we really haven't got a lot of in this series is the more clashing of the old versus the new, because some of these characters were idols in the past, some were modern, and then some never were idols whatsoever. And I like the idea of you have this old versus new kind of thought process of how you interact with fans. One of them saying like, you know, back in my time, we didn't do this. We always were this perfect image for the fans. We never let them see imperfections in ourselves. Whereas we have a more modern idol who did. They would have the pictures to be very close to their fans. And I like the idea of them just kind of butting heads with this, because they didn't have to do this, but I was actually really interested in seeing the difference in their kind of ideologies and their kind of like mindsets when it just comes to being an idol, and how, you know, just learning how they both died, one in a plane crash, one being literally struck by lightning, being the most metal thing and metal death ever. And just, I really like this, because the idea of old versus new clashing and what could come out of this, you don't really know how to tackle something like this, because both of them grew up in a different wave of idols. So how are they going to find the proper balance? And that's something that makes the series a bit more, because it could rely on just being a comedy series as long as the comedy was always fun, or more often than not being fairly fun. But because this is a series not trying to just be comedy, it's trying to be a bit more of like a slice of life drama sort of a situation. The fact that they brought up this kind of dilemma, it makes it a bit more intriguing, because you get to know these characters on a personal level, and I do like the idea of their past kind of opening up and how it translates to the now modern day for them. And I think that's actually really interesting, and next week should be not only hilarious, but also a really interesting conclusion to the two's arc, because obviously I don't expect these two to part ways. They're going to find a middle ground. They're going to be able to solve it. Maybe Jugo will find a way to deal with everything. I don't know, but there should be an okay resolution next week. But I do like that there are these butting heads. We only saw a little bit of it when the group was kind of first being formed, and then everything kind of fell together. Everyone was working together, and the only real competition they had and the only real obstacle that they had was the manager. So it was nice to see something like this happen, and I didn't expect this week's episode to be as crazy and as funny and just fun as last week, because last week set such an exceptionally high bar. But I was surprised by how close it came in terms of me being really just engaged with the episode. There was a lot of interesting character moments. There was actually a lot of funny moments just sprinkled off and on. And I think Zombieland Saga over the past few episodes have really found its balance of how to be Zombieland Saga, because it's such a unique genre that it created. And I remember reading that there are some people saying, like, if it does go traditional idol, which it started to look like a few weeks back, then I will have to drop off because they just didn't like idols. And I'm interested to see how much more they will skim over the general idol portions like they did with this week's episode, because I think for the past few episodes, those who weren't into the more idol portions to the show should be really happy, because they really did just kind of skip over it. And one thing I do gotta make a quick note of is, I never really mentioned it, but the music when present is actually really good in Zombieland Saga. There's this moment when both I and Juko kind of part ways, and they're playing this kind of like acoustic slash brass instrumental song. That song I I'm really excited to listen to in full. It was something that I don't really know how to explain, but it really matched the mood, but it was just very peaceful and kind of just almost happy to listen to. I don't know how to explain it past that, but it was a really nice piece, and I definitely think the voice actors gave it their all, and the facial reactions, I mean, are always absolutely top-notch. You can never beat Zombieland Saga in that department, and just how much of an asshole the manager is, but how funny it is all at the same time. Another really solid episode of Zombieland Saga. I am glad they went more on the kind of character drama side to really flesh out these characters a bit more, so they are more than just their personality. And I can't wait to see how this rock festival is going to go down. The title, the trailer, and just what we can expect from this series. You know it is going to be a blast and probably a bit of a shocker. So let me know whatever you thought of the episode down in the comment section below. Do you love it? Do you hate? Your favorite moment? Whatever you're feeling, let me know. And be sure to like the video if you did enjoy it. And also hit that subscribe button if you want to see more content from me in the future. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.